Hi guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be making, I haven't done many prawn dishes, so we're going to be making king prawn curry. It's really tasty. We use most Indian restaurants, British Indian restaurants, they use Bangladeshi U5 King Prawns, which are very expensive. So it's a loss leader dish, so we don't actually make any money, but just to kind of drive people in. So it's quite simple. It's like most of how you make a chicken curry, how you make a lamb curry. You just got to add king prawns. So 2 teaspoons of oil, 1 teaspoon of garlic and ginger paste, 2 teaspoons of tomato puree, 2 teaspoons of our desi style spice, which is just mixed powder, 2 Bangladeshi U5 King Prawns, and I'll show you how to cut them as well. About half a pint of base gravy, and a sprinkle of coriander. And that's it for a king prawn curry. So guys, we're ready to start our curry. We've got the king prawn here. So look at the size of these king prawns. They're Bangladeshi U5 King Prawns. They're huge. So most curry houses I know, they use this king prawn. We don't use the whole thing. We do cut it up, and I'll show you now how to cut it up. A couple of dishes we do use the whole king prawn, but majority of the curries we actually cut the king prawn up. So I'll show you the technique. You've just got to kind of take the bottom bit off, and then just pull the top. That should come off easily. Same again with the other prawn. Just take the bottom bit off, so you're left with like a little bit here, and then it should just pop off. Then you've got to cut the top off, but cut it half, and then drag the prawn. Can you see that waste is coming out? Don't worry if you don't get the waste. You can, when you cut it up in half, so we're going to cut it in half. Anything left there you can grab out. And then you just make it into small pieces. So, same with this one. Can you see how I've just taken that out? It's quite hard to do that. It does take a while. So if you can't do it or you haven't done it, once you slice it in half, the waste will be around here. Then you can kind of try and pull it off. So you just got to cut these into smaller pieces. On average, you should get about, from 2 prawns, at least 10 pieces. I think there's about 12 here. Depends on the size of the prawns, they do vary. So we're ready with the prawns. So we've got our oil. We're going to add garlic and ginger paste. I've got to put 1 teaspoon. One thing I did forget actually, I forgot to put salt. Now I don't normally add salt because a lot of the prep stuff has got salt, like the chicken or the lamb, but the prawn has got no added salt. So all prawn dishes I do tend to add a little bit more salt. Okay, so that's sizzling out nicely. So it's gone a bit goldeny now. So we're just going to add some tomato puree to this now. That's sizzling really nicely now. Sizzling. So that's sizzling up really nicely now. And we've got our desi style mixed powder, about 2 teaspoons. You put it in. Okay, so with king prawns you've got to be really careful because you can't let it cook too much. It's not like chicken and lamb where you can leave it cooking for as long as you kind of want really. But king prawn will just go very rubbery, so you don't want it to give it too much, but you don't want to give it too less, otherwise you're going to get food poisoning because it's raw prawns. So you've got to be very careful with the king prawns. You've got to really keep your eye on it. Got to put to add a little bit of salt, just very small amount of salt. As I said, the pre-cooked chicken and the pre-cooked lamb have already got salt. The gravy's got salt, so I don't add any added extra salt with chicken and lamb dishes. But with the king prawn I do because it's not been pre-cooked. You're ready for your base gravy. You want to be very careful, like I said, is with the king prawns, you don't want to overcook it. and you don't want to undercook it. So it's very difficult to try and get it right. Even if your sauce is a bit thin and you think that's a bit thin, get it out quicker. Otherwise it will get very rubbery. So don't leave it too long, whatever you do. You're going to ruin your whole curry. So make sure you've got a nice thick base gravy as well, because if it's not too thick, then it's going to take a very long time. I would say, I mean, each cooker's different, but I would definitely say, you know, no more than 3 minutes to do this, really. I'd say sort of 3 minutes average, let it cook. But yeah, no more than 3 minutes, I would say. So just going to add a sprinkle of coriander to it and let that cook in nicely. That'll give it a nice fragrance as well. So every now and then, stir it, scrape the sides off so it doesn't get stuck, and make sure you're hitting the bottom, because it'll get stuck at the bottom. So that looks quite thick. My king prawns look very nice. They look quite, you know, like they're quite done. Obviously I've done it for years and got a bit more experience, but yeah, just be very careful. So here we go, guys. That's all ready now. Some lovely king prawn dish. So there we have it, a lovely king prawn curry.